Greetings and welcome to today's episode Till Death Do Us Part. A lot transpires between marriage and death. There are good days and then there are bad days. But I won't spend too much time talking about the good or bad days. I want to go over 5 key points to making it until death. Stick around if you want triumph in your vows.
To be my wedded wife,
To be my wedded husband,
to have
to hold
from
this day forward,
for better,
or worse,
for richer,
or poorer,
in sickness,
and in health,
till
till
death
death
do
do
us
us part. According to God's holy
ordinance,
I pledge thee my faith and myself to you. Hey everybody, it is Angie Roll here, back with another episode of Vow Triumph. This episode is episode 8, Till Death Do Us Part. And I recently did a blog on my website, www.loveinspiry.com, talking about the secrets to a long-lasting love. And when I think of Till Death Do Us Part, I think of longevity. I think of, like I said in the intro, so much happens when you get in between when you get married and until death. And I don't want to focus necessarily on, the different things that transpire. I want to focus on getting you to death. And so in my blog, I talked about 5 key points that helped me get to that triumphant stage that I'm in now. Not saying that we don't have up and down stages, but we've learned how to cope with setbacks, cope with failures, cope with attitudes and things of that sort. So I just want to get you to that point. And the first thing that I want to talk about is removing selfishness. You have to take the eye out of your relationship and make sure that you're focusing on the you, making sure that you're focusing on the big picture. I look at, the Golden State Warriors. They're probably on the verge to getting their another NBA championship, their third NBA back-to-back championship. And so I look at everybody top down, from the president to the owners to the general manager to the coaches, even to the doctors to the team, and everybody has their individual role, and they are making that individual role and turning it into a team role to get to the organization goal. And so the same thing happens in a marriage. You have a marriage goal, whatever that goal may be. Right now we're talking about till death do us part. Your goal is till death do us part. You have to take your individual self, and this person has to take their individual self, and you have to come together and work together as a team and collaborate to get to that goal. You have to play your point guard part. You have to play, that person has to play their shooting guard part, or their power forward, or whatever the case may be in whatever you're going through. But you have to play your part, and your partner has to play their part. And if you're not playing the parts, the team is not going to make it. You're not going to get to that goal. You're not going to get to that championship, that parade at the end of the day. Another thing I want to talk about as far as removing selfishness is, remember that when you're in a relationship, whatever you do, good or bad, impacts your partner. So, I was listening to The Breakfast Club the other day, and Portia Williams was saying how her boyfriend at the time had went out and purchased a house without her, knowing. And although that was a nice gesture, and I think that, men should make nice gestures, maybe not that big of a gesture, because that's like something that you need to come together with. But it is a teachable moment right now into saying that what you do, because she wasn't really feeling the house. And what you do impacts your partner, whether it's good or bad. Like I said, if you want to go out and purchase a house, that is a life decision that you have to make as a whole, because it's a permanent decision, unless you have money to just buy houses and sell them and do whatever you want with them. But things like that, you have to realize that we have to realize as people that what we do is either going to hurt or help the situation. It's going to hurt or help our relationship or our partner. And we have to be mindful in removing ourselves out and focusing on, how is this going to affect my partner? That's the first question you should ask. How is this going to affect my partner? How are they going to feel about this? And they should be doing the same, vice versa, so the relationship can work together, so you can have really good teamwork and really good collaboration. If you're not thinking about your partner, then the relationship is not going to benefit. You have to be willing to focus on the other person and focus on what you can do to make the relationship better. That's the only thing that you should be focused on as pertaining to I. What can I do to make the relationship better? What can I do to help my partner to be a better teammate, to be a better collaborator? So just keep that in mind when you are in longevity and anything, that you have to remove selfishness from the table. If you're being selfish, the relationship will not flourish. The second thing that I want to talk about as pertaining to longevity and getting till death is abandoning temptations. And there is a whole realm of temptations out there in the world, trying to block your path, trying to set you back, trying to make you stumble. There's things and people that are placed in your life just to stir up conflict, just to stir up confusion in your relationship and in your marriage. And that's the first thing that I want to talk about, is the opposite sex. I go into depth about this in my book, so I don't want to, obviously I want you to purchase and get something out of the book, but I just want to say, as far as the opposite sex, you have to, I want people to think about what they're doing in the conversations that they are having with the opposite sex. That's how things happen, and it starts with that conversation. It starts with that simple hello or a simple hi that you're giving. If you know somebody likes you and you're in a relationship and you're married, they're probably not the best person that you should be talking to, because especially if that person doesn't have morals and values and beliefs, because they're not going to respect your marriage. So anybody that is not going to respect your marriage and honor the fact that you're married, you should not even be entertaining. It should not even be a thought to you to entertain that person. I think to me, I feel like infidelity is one of those things that is preventable. I feel like it shouldn't happen, because it happens so easily, and it can be so easily prevented if we just set boundaries with the opposite sex. At the end of the day, that person that you're entertaining, that friend or whoever, is not more important than your spouse. The Bible says you leave mother and father and cleave to your husband, you cleave to your wife. They become under God, they become priority in your life. They become who you are responsible for, who you are accountable for. So when you are having friends of the opposite sex, I really want you to keep that in mind and watch the friends and company that you keep. Another temptation that we have to watch out for is our family members. And I also talk about this in my book as well, as far as avoiding temptation with family members. Simply put, what I mean by that is, when you are angry with your spouse, your family is not the right person to talk to. I don't care if that family member is your best friend. Find another best friend to talk to. Talk to Jesus Christ. Talk to somebody else. But do not talk to your family. I made the mistake in my marriage, in my relationship, of talking to family members, and some of them family members just would not let the situation go. And so I don't want that for anybody else. Just, in sharing my story, just keep your business to yourself. Keep your business to somebody that you know is not going to hold on to it or linger on to it or try to make you feel bad if you fall back in love with this person or you go back to this person. So just watch your family members, watch what you say to them about your significant other, and even friends too. Don't talk bad about your significant other to people, because people are watching that, they're listening to that, and then the opposite sex that is looking to stir up something, if they hear that, there goes their ammunition to just come in and do what the devil does, sift you as weeds. The third thing that I want to talk about is one of the most important things that you can have in your relationship, and that is really good, effective communication. A lot of people take communication for granted. They think that you can hide your emotions or not say how you feel and that it'll be okay. And women, we as women, we do that a lot. I said on my podcast earlier this week, a lot of the times we'll pacify things or say, no, it's okay, I'm not mad about anything. When, girl, if you're mad, tell them you're mad. But this is the thing, monitor how you say it. Communication is not just what you say, but it's also how you say it, how you relay the information, because how you relay the information will determine how somebody receives it. Are they going to receive it positively or negatively? Are they going to receive it as constructive criticism, or are they going to receive it as just flat out criticism? So how we say things is probably more important than what we say. I believe in getting your feelings out there, laying everything out on the table, how you want to do this, how you want to do that, and coming together, like I talked about earlier, and collaborating together as a team. But I do feel that you should always put your feelings out on the table. Express yourselves. Your partner, whether male or female, does not know what's going on in your head. They are not mind readers. No matter how much you think, because you roll your eyes or suck your teeth or pat or do whatever you do, they're not going to understand that unless you tell them. Open your mouth, use dialogue, and relay the information, relay what you are trying to convey, and be clear and concise in relaying that information. And also, like I said, just watching your tone, watching how your watching the bass in your voice. If I come to somebody, and I said this before, if I come to my husband and I'm doing this and I'm yelling and I'm screaming at him, he's not going to be very receptive to me and helping me out and figuring out what's going on. And so monitor what you say, monitor how you say it. And then a big part about it is if you look at the communication model, you look at the ending part, and it says feedback. So we have to, when we're getting information, we have to monitor our reactions to that information. Your spouse, if you have a good spouse, is not always going to tell you what you want to hear. If you have a partner that is constantly telling you what you want to hear, patting you on the back, not telling you about yourself, get a new partner. That partner is not right for you. That partner is not helping you grow. That partner is not developing you or trying to get you to a place of they're not doing anything for you. You need somebody in your corner that's going to tell you about yourself in a good way and help you progress and grow and move forward in life. And so I want you to understand that your reactions is part of communication. If you're rolling your eyes and sucking your teeth, though, that nonverbal communication is just as important as what you say out of your mouth. watch how you doing this. This is not crossing your arms. It's not very welcoming. It comes off very attitude-ish, or like you have a problem or something. If I'm doing this, the sighing, all that is communication, and it's not good communication. It's not effective communication. It's not trying to help the problem. It's not helping you get to a point of a conclusion or a resolution to the problem or whatever is going on in your life. So just watch your communication, monitor what you say, monitor how you say it, monitor your reactions, most importantly, and your nonverbal behavior, because nonverbal behavior also can cause arguments. The rolling the eyes, the sucking the teeth, the sighing, that can cause an unnecessary argument if you're not monitoring that kind of nonverbal communication. The fourth thing that I want to talk about is patience. And patience is a huge one. So important to have in your relationship. Probably the number one thing other than Christ to have is patience. And for me, I didn't really get to a point of understanding patience. It probably, I was probably maybe close to a decade into my marriage where I realized, what patience was, and that I needed patience, and you need patience to endure, to make it to death, to make it to the end of your relationship. And what is important to understand about patience is with patience comes growth. Your partner, I got married at 18. I'm be 31 in July of 2019. Let me tell you something. I'm not the same person that I was at 18. I don't think the same way. I don't act the same way. I don't do the same things that I did at 18, at 31. So naturally, when you're with somebody and when you're with them for years, I'm hoping that you make it to 25 years and 30, 40 years, 50 years. I'm hoping for that. And naturally with that, you're going to change. You're going to start to view things differently. You're going to start to act differently. Hopefully you mature, because we all know that with, sometimes people don't necessarily mature with age. But you'll need patience to grow with your partner. You'll need patience as they develop and become this perhaps a different person, or different, or have different opinions and thoughts on situations and ideas to do things. A lot of the times, when you're 18 years old, you can be reckless, or 18, 19, 20, you could be reckless with the money. And then you spend all these years with somebody that's been reckless with money, and then when they turn 25, they do an about face and they change. And so you have to be able to change with them, adapt to change. Adaptability is huge in a relationship as well, but I clump that into patience. Also, another thing that I want to talk about is acceptance. I am rocking the Love is Greater Than tee from our Love is Greater Than collection on Love Inspired Apparel. And let me tell you something about acceptance. It's basically what this brand is about. Understanding that love is greater than flaws, faults, quirks, anything, all the annoyances, all of that. And a part of being patient with somebody is accepting them, letting them be them, realizing that they don't think like you, they don't act like you, they're a separate individual, but you love this individual for who they are. Don't try to change your partner. And don't think that you can change them, because like I posted earlier this week in Facebook, change is something that's internal. Your partner has to want to change in order for them to change. You can't do that no matter how magical you think you are, what voodoo you can cast on them. You can't change them. They have to want that change, and they have to desire that change, and then act on that change. And the last thing that I want to equip you with, obviously, this show is Christian based. My book that's coming out is Christian based. I am a Christian. I'm not ashamed to own my Lord or to defend his cause. I am a diehard Christian. I love the Lord. I love the Bible. I love to talk about him, and I'm not going to spend much time on this because our next episode is according to God's holy ordinance. So we're going to get into all the scripture you desire regarding marriage and relationships and making it and honoring your vows and things of that sort. But I just want to say something for me that helped me in my marriage, going on 13 years now, is understanding that the source of my strength is the Lord. I am powered by God. I can do nothing without him. That's what the word tells us, right? We can do nothing without him, and with him all things are possible. So once you get those two things in your mind, understanding that without him you can't do a thing, and understanding that you are powered by God and you need him in your daily lives to get through all the daily struggles and trials and tribulations that you'll go through in your marriage and individually. Once we get that down pat, then we can accomplish all of this. We can accomplish good communication. We can accomplish patience. We can accomplish abandoning temptations. We can accomplish removing selfishness because we know where our help comes from. We're asking the Lord to help us have a healthy and holy, honorable marriage, and God will grant us the desires of our heart if we ask him sincerely and in prayer. So I truly believe that being powered by God is essential in making it to the end, especially if you're a Christian. It should be number one on your list. Study the word together. I always tell couples, pray together, talk to the Lord together individually. And another good thing that you can do is pray for your spouse, especially if you're a woman. Pray for your husband. He has a hefty role in providing for the family, being a leader, so pray for your husband, and husbands, pray for your wives as well. My husband told me the other day, he's like, you don't even know, but I pray for you every single day. I pray that God watches over the house. I pray that God watches over you, and I thought that was pretty dope because I'm like, I really didn't know. I know that he prays for me, but I didn't know that he prayed every single day for me. So that was pretty nice to hear. But just pray for your wife, pray for your husband, pray for your children, just pray and do it together as a family. In my book, you'll find out what happened to me when me and my husband started praying together. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Just remember the key points to making it until death. That is removing selfishness. Take the I out of that, whatever it is that you are doing. And once you take that I out, I promise you, you will start see that your relationship is progressing in the right direction. Also, we talked about abandoning temptations. Watch your conversation with the opposite sex. Watch how you talk, watch how you entertain, and please don't entertain people that like you, that you may have had a relationship with in the past. Just watch all that. The third thing that we talked about is utilizing good communication. Monitor what you say and how you say it, and also monitor your reactions to it. The fourth thing we talked about was patience, and talked about that when you have patience, you have endurance to make it to the end, and also realizing that a part of patience is accepting your partner, accepting their flaws and their faults and their quirks. And the last thing that we talked about is the most important to me is understanding where your strength comes from, and understanding that you are powered by God. You can do nothing without him, and with him all things are possible. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode, Till Death Do Us Part. I hope you will tune in next week, in 2 weeks, as me and my husband talk about according to God's holy ordinance. That should be a good episode, and thank you so much. Have a good day.